Oh, I need some coffee for this one. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Patriots. How are you today? I hope you are doing fine. Whether you're catching me live or catching me on the rerun, or you're watching me on YouTube or Facebook, and soon to be Rumble. And as soon as I get that figured out and lined up, I will let you know. Rumble is the new streaming service for videos, kind of like YouTube, but it's owned partially by Dan Bongino, which is a good thing. So check it out. I get no endorsement. I get nothing for that. I'm just thinking we need some other resources. So, how you doing today, Patriots? My name is Michael Cook. I'm coming to you live from Central Missouri. We're going to talk about all things. I talk about all things Patriot. I am a constitutional conservative. I believe in liberty above all else for this country. We have forgotten what that word means, and it's an important word, and we need to get back to liberty and away from, healthcare is a right and all that other stuff, and we need to get back to the basic principles of what our Constitution was founded on. Our founding fathers said, give me liberty or give me death. They didn't say, give me free healthcare or give me housing or give me food or they said, give me liberty. Good morning, Robert. How are you doing today? That's not what I wanted to talk about today, but that is kind of where I went. So I have been struggling with this message for a long time coming, and I have hinted at this in some of my videos, but I've never really made this public because I wasn't sure how people would take it. But I'm going to tell you a story about me and about discovery on my part. Excuse me. I feel like sneeze coming. Ugh. Anyways, I don't have COVID. I might have allergies, but I don't have COVID. Anyways, I like a good strong cup of coffee in the morning. I've been struggling with this. I've been struggling with how to present this, but I want to give you all hope. You know, you turn on the TV this morning and you watch the news, and it just seems like Joe Biden is going to walk away with this thing. And you're wondering, how is this even possible? How is it that Joe Biden's walking away with this thing? That doesn't make any sense. You know, I turn on my Facebook yesterday and I see all these posts from my friends in California who are doing mega rallies covering tens of thousands of people in Beverly Hills. How is Trump walking away from this? He shows up all over the place with rallies with tens of thousands of people, and those are limited because they're limiting him on how many people he can have. Joe Biden shows up and the only people's the press pool. And they say, well, that's the way he meant to do it. Yeah, like, I've heard that. I've seen that movie. I meant to do that. And the media tells us that the polls all say in every single state in the union that Biden's going to win in a huge landslide. He's going to get all the states. He's going to get all the popular vote. And we're going to get rid of Orange Man because he's bad. In some of the states, they're trying to ensure this by cheating with the mail-in ballots. We see post after post after post. We see news report after news report that ballots from the military, ballots from conservative counties and conservative states are missing. It even happened right here in Pettis County. 1,200 ballots just disappeared. They couldn't figure out where they went. They found them, and we have a real strong guy in charge of all that stuff in this county, and so that helped out a lot. So they're trying to try everything with these polls. Their numbers aren't correct, or they're made up, in my opinion. They're doing everything they can to cheat, to lie, to steal, to spend. They're spending money like no tomorrow. I saw a campaign ad with John McCain's wife endorsing Joe Biden because I don't know why. Why would Joe Biden do this? Is such a blind spot to these Hollywood, same thing, I digress, these Washington elitists that seem to think that a conservative-minded, patriot-loving, libertarian thinking person will vote for Joe Biden because John McCain's wife endorsed him. We look at John McCain not only as my father who served in Vietnam, my father-in-law who served in Vietnam, hates John McCain. And everybody else I know who really served in the line of fire They're not fans of John McCain. And all true conservative Republicans hate John McCain because he betrayed us. He put the thumb up and the thumb down as he left us with the deciding vote on Obamacare. And yet his wife endorses a man who for 47 years has done nothing but live off the largesse of America while pretending to be in charge. So let me back up. I don't want to make this video longer than it needs to be. Let me back up. I want to start. The year is 2015. Donald Trump has just come down the escalator with his beautiful wife. And I'm a Ted Cruz guy at the time. I mean, I still like Ted Cruz. And I thought, boy, I like Donald Trump. I've read some of his books. I got some of his books right on my bookshelf right here. And he's a pretty smart dude. And he seems to be pretty successful. He knows a little bit about money. But I'm a Ted Cruz guy. And as you know, I'm a Christian. I've said this many times. And I believe I have strong faith in God. I believe that God works in mysterious ways. I believe God does things to shock the world sometimes. I also believe he has a sense of humor. I also have a sense of ironic things. And sometimes he doesn't do what you want. So as I'm thinking about this and as I'm praying about this, as I do every single morning, and I'm not bragging, it's just who I am. I don't even know how I stumbled onto it. I was watching videos on Facebook or YouTube or someplace, and I stumbled onto this video of this mega church preacher, and this was like shortly after Trump had come down the escalator and entered the race. There's still 700 people in the Republican race. Again, Hillary Clinton, we know she's going to be the nominee. Now, she's still in the primaries, and Bernie Sanders still giving her runner money, but we all know that's the coronation. It's been chosen. She is going to be the nominee. We know that. No problem. But on the Republican side, we really didn't know. In the Missouri primaries, I voted for Ted Cruz. So I'm stumbling through and I find this mega church preacher in South Florida somewhere. I don't remember what his name was. I didn't save the video because at the time, I just put a check mark in my mind to say, well, that's interesting. Because what he said, and I've mentioned some of this, but I'm going to do the whole timeline so that you guys understand. I mentioned some of this before, but what he said that he was praying. He's like, we can't have Hillary Clinton as president. It's going to kill our country. Which is where we're at today, really. The same thing. So he says, I'm praying, and God spoke to me, and this is what he said. He said that I'm raising this man Trump to be my trumpet, to trumpet the evil that is in this government. Trumpet meaning point out. In the vein of Cyrus, for such a time as this. Now, Cyrus was the king of Persia after they conquered Babylon. Babylon conquered Israel and took the Israelites captive for 70 some odd years. That's where Daniel comes in and all this stuff. Cyrus was the king who sent the Israelites back to rebuild Jerusalem, to build the wall around Jerusalem and restore the temple. So this preacher said, in the vein of Cyrus, a man who did not know me but did my will. And then he said, for such a time as this. Now that's Esther. Esther, there was evil happening in the time of Esther. It was in the government of the time. They were going to kill all the Jews. And Mordecai, Esther's uncle, said, you were placed as the Queen Esther, to the king of Persia for such a time as this. Meaning, God has prepared this in advance. So what this preacher is saying, that Trump will be the trumpet in the vein of Cyrus, a man who didn't know me, who rebuilt walls and restored Jerusalem. Hello, have you watched the news lately, friends? I'm just saying. for such a time as this, where he's going to root out the evil for such a time as this, he's going to destroy. And if you read the book of Esther, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but read it at the very, 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 very end. Just like that, God flips it around. So I thought to myself, that's interesting. I will store that for later. Then a few months later, I'm stumbling through watching videos, whatever. I don't remember, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it was. When we all do it, right? And I stumbled across another guy from a mega church in Texas who said that God told him that Trump will be his trumpet. And for such a time as this, in the vein of Cyrus, the same exact wording. I looked, couldn't find any connection between these two churches. And I said, that's interesting. Mind you, this was probably midsummer. So fast forward. The primaries are over. We've chosen Trump. He's running against Hillary. We're at this time of the year. And remember what it was in 2016? There's no way Trump can win. I may go down as the worst president of the United States, Barack Obama says, but at least I'll be president. Drop the mic. Do you remember that? Have you seen the video of the montage? You'll never be president. Do you remember that? That's where we were at this time. This time of year, Trump was down in every single poll. And I stumbled across another preacher. That's right, from the Northeast, at a mega church. I didn't know they had mega churches in the Northeast. Didn't know they even had any churches left in the Northeast. Evidently, they do. This preacher said that God told him that he was going to raise up this man, Trump, to be his trumpet, to trumpet the evil that is in this government. In the vein of Cyrus, a man who does not know me, but did my will for such a time as this. And I said, that's three of the exact same thing. So now my ears are perked up. And I didn't say anything to anybody because it surely didn't look like Trump was going to win. But he did. And after that, I said, there's something to this. And I started searching. I started searching for prophecies about Trump. Modern day, not in the Bible, modern day prophecy. If you study Jewish tradition, there are hundreds and hundreds of prophecies in Jewish tradition. It never made it in the Torah, never made it in the Bible, but a lot of people, it's just like, we have great theologians in the history of Christendom. People like, I'm drawing a blank. I'm right in front of you. I could have said it. C.S. Lewis. There's one popping in my head. Great thinkers who put things on paper and actually made predictions of the future. God is not dead. God is not inactive. God is working through his Holy Spirit continuously. So I started searching around and I stumbled across, I'm going to give you a couple of names, write these down, look it up for yourself. I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to condense all of this. I'm not going to go into the whole thing. But I stumbled across a guy named Mark Taylor. Look him up. I stumbled across a guy named Kim Clement. Look him up. Kim Clement is a evangelicist. I can't even say the word. Evangelist, singer-songwriter from South Africa. Mark Taylor's more United States. They travel, they do their thing in Christendom. Maybe they're crackpots. I don't know. But going all the way back to 2007, both of them were predicting that Donald Trump would be God's trumpet in the vein of Cyrus for such a time as this. Those men, they both predict that Donald Trump will win 2 terms. Do you hear me? God is not mocked. He leaves breadcrumbs for what his will is, for you to seek it and find it. Do you hear me? 2 terms. Both of them say that, 2 terms. Kim Commit said that they will spend money, more money, to defeat this man than has ever been spent before. But God says, ha! That's what he said. Ha! You think I am impressed with your money, with your men of war? That's what God says in one of Kim Commit's prophecies. Now, Kim Commit does it better than I can. Go check it out. Watch the video. But basically, he says, both of these people say Trump will be reelected in a landslide. My friends, either these men are prophets or they are liars. They got it right the first time. Maybe it was just back in 2007, they saw Donald Trump and they thought, well, he's going to make a great president. And so they prophesized about it. I don't know. And these other preachers, they got it right too. I don't know. I don't have an answer. And I am no prophet. But I read these things and I say, there's something going on here. Something bigger is happening here. There's a lot more to this. Kim Clement says a lot of stuff. Mark Taylor says a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to get into all that. If you want to know that, look it up yourself. It's all over YouTube. It's all over written words. You can find it. I want to say this, though. God is not mocked. God does things his way, does things differently in order to fool the people. In fact, Kim Clement in one of his prophets says, I will fool the people. He makes the wise foolish and the foolish wise. He brings about change. He brings about his will in a way that surprises everybody. The learned, the professors, the theologians, the ones who know everything there is to know. You know, at the time of Jesus is coming, they all missed it. It was the fishermen and the tax collectors that got it, and the sheep herders, and the lowly, and the unwashed, and the uncouth. They got it. They seen it. There's something big happening in this country right now. There is a battle for the soul of this nation happening right now. Decisions will be made that are eternal right now, 15 days away from this election. My friends, you must, if you believe in the power of God, if you believe that God is bigger than the adversary, if you believe that this country was made for something stronger, something bigger, some eternal purpose, you must go out and vote. You see, we've been granted something that's never been granted in the history of mankind. And it is the normalcy. It is the standard that man lives in servitude, not freedom, not liberty. Liberty is the exception to the rule of the history of man on this planet. Man has always served the authority of men above them, always had kings and kingdoms and empires, always. This country was an experiment that's a little less than 250 years old that, by the grace of God, did something new, did something different, gave us, each of us, we are the authority. The government was orchestrated by our founding fathers with limited powers of our government and authority given to us. My friends, we must take this government back. And the man to do that, appointed by God for such a time as this, is Donald J. Trump. You must go out, if you are a Christian, if you believe that God is not dead and God will not be mocked, because if we do not stand up as Christians, as patriots, as the church, if we do not stand up and we do not go to that voting booth, 50 million evangelical Christians didn't show up even in the last election. We're not polled. We're not counted. We're not called. If we do not stand up and go to these polls, God will reject us as a nation because we have rejected him. It is time to understand that you are the ultimate authority in this country granted to us by the God-given Constitution of the United States of America. Our founding fathers gave us a gift. And right now, the choice is, do we reject that gift? Do we reject the gift that we are the authority, the individual is the authority in this country, and we give it to those, the authority, who wish to protect us, make us safe with a ever-increasing, ever-centralized government of power that will replace God? The choice is yours, my friend. The time is today. You can go back. There's one more prophecy that I heard. It was a man who served in World War II. And after he retired from the military, he went to Italy, where he prayed every single day. He was a Catholic, and I won't hold that against him. Got a lot of good friends who love the Lord who are Catholic. Got a potential Supreme Court justice who seems like a very good person who's Catholic. But he was over there and he would pray day in and day out. So he devoted his life to prayer. The people of the time, this was the late 70s, early 80s, called him the praying American. Over there, the Catholic churches in Rome, Italy, you could go every hour to a different church, to a different mass. And that's what he would do. He became friends with a guy who was also Catholic, but he was a prominent businessman who would go over there. They met up and they became friends. And this was in about 1983. And he said to this man that Donald J. Trump would change the world for God. And this man, he's the playboy, the billionaire, the guy running around with the beauty queens on his arm, that guy. He's going to change. He goes, look, that's what God told me. That Donald J. Trump would change the world. My friends, has he not changed the world? We have peace in the Middle East. We have Bahrain. We have the United Arab Emirates. We have Jordan signing peace treaties with Israel. Do you understand that that is revelation? Those are the Arabs, the descendants of Ishmael. And it says in Revelation before the end times that this would happen. Saudi Arabia also. We are living in a time of biblical prophecy coming true before our eyes. My God is an awesome God. And he may not come in the timing that we have, but he's always on time. For such a time as this is a reference to Esther, where everything looked bleak and bad until God changed it in a minute. And the man who did what the evil, who planned it out, was hanging on his own gallows. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I will make my prediction. Write it down, mark it right now. Donald Trump wins re-election by 300 plus electoral college votes and 2 million plus popular votes. Although the popular votes are irrelevant because by law we go by electoral votes. Thank God. That is my prediction. Write it down. And I'm telling you right now, I will be wrong because it will be greater than that. And with that, you guys have a great day. I know this is a long video. I had to get this off my heart. Please share this video with your friends. Please give them hope. If they're leaning towards Trump, they need to see this video and understand that God's will not be mocked. You guys have a great day. I will catch you later. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later.